All right, Planet Mondo. Haven't been on here talking movies for quite some time, and I feel like I owe you guys an explanation. So life kind of just drop kicked me, slap boxed me, dropped me on my head. Get a bald head, so I don't have much protection if I get dropped on my head. Lots been going on. I was just not mentally in the best spot to be doing YouTube anymore and focusing on movies in general. Um, to be quite honest with you, I should be completely honest. I went through a really bad breakup out of nowhere, and pretty much 2 weeks later, I had to put down my dog, and it was just a lot going on at the same time. So I had to kind of withdraw from focusing on movies and YouTube and so on and so forth. But now that it's been a few months, kind of want to focus back on what I used to love doing. And I think that's very helpful. So hopefully the movie community welcomes me back because this face has been gone for a while. But anyway, I want to talk Vinegar Syndrome. I haven't bought any Vinegar Syndrome stuff recently, but I want to go over my top 30 Vinegar Syndrome releases. And I really have to do like a better job at promoting these things because I kind of just do it last minute. You see, my dog's going crazy. I kind of just do these last minute, which is fine. So if you're watching it on the replay, which I'm sure you will be, I appreciate it. Hit the like button. Everybody says that, but it actually matters. Hit the like button and please subscribe because, again, I haven't uploaded for, I don't even know, like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. I have no idea. So when that happens, YouTube tends to shadow ban you and you won't really fall in the algorithm. So interaction really helps get me back into the rhythm of things. So just clicking the like button definitely helps. So Vinegar Syndrome, I want to talk about them and some of the releases that I have. Now, this is not in any particular order. I'm just going to kind of go over them. These are 30 that I own. And it was pretty rough trying to pick 30 because I have definitely over, I don't know, 120, 150 releases from Vinegar Syndrome or so. So, but it is what it is. So let's get right into it. First one I want to recommend is a Polish box set, which has 3 films in there. It is the Apocalypse Tetralogy. Comes with a little booklet also. It's got a bunch of rats on there. And it comes with this beautiful, it's got a slipcase, obviously. It comes with this beautiful slip cover, which they made a post over it also. So I actually have 2 copies of these. They sent me 2 copies. So maybe one day I'll give away one of these because I do have 2 copies and they are out of print. So I definitely recommend these if you're into like apocalyptic surreal films. They're super weird. Kind of reminded me of Alien in LA, if you've seen that one. But I like these better because it doesn't have the girl with the annoying voice. So Apocalypse Tetralogy, definitely on my top 30. Again, these are not in order. So this is not necessarily number 30. It's just 30 releases that I happen to enjoy. Next up, let's go over this one. Death Promise. I don't want to take this one out because these are like super hard to get out and put back in. I don't feel like going through it. But actually, fuck it. I'll just do it. I'll do it with this one. I can't promise I'm going to do it with every single one because some of them are a task to get out. So, but this one right here, Death Promise. So it's basically about a scumlord, which would be a shitty landlord. And it's based in New York City from what I can remember. And I love in general films that are based out of old school New York City. Basement Blues. How's it going, brother? Appreciate you being here. I got to start advertising these. I just kind of randomly go live and I got to stop doing that. But Death Promise. Definitely recommend this if you're into like cheesy action flicks. I think it's from the 70s or 80s. I'm not sure. But that's definitely sold out with the slip. And so is Apocalypse Tetralogy. So again, I have 2 copies of this, so I might give one away. Maybe once we hit like 2,000 subs or something like that. So we'll figure that out. Next up, let's go with Dolly Dearest. If you are a fan of Child's Play, I recommend this movie. This is basically a cheaper bootleg version of Child's Play with a doll named Dolly. The visual effects are pretty good. I was surprised because she kind of looks real. Like it looks pretty decent, especially like practical effects age very well. You know, there's no CGI in these, so practical effects always tend to age well. And again, you can get these little cover protectors. I got these from eBay, but I know Vinegar Syndrome themselves sell these. The ones that they sell are pretty snug, so it's hard to get it out. So these are the eBay ones that I've bought, but you can obviously get it from Vinegar Syndrome. So speaking of snug, this is an example of one that I got from Vinegar Syndrome that I can barely get out. Like it's very difficult to get these out. Thriller, A Cruel Picture, which has both cuts, I believe. I didn't see this back in the day. This is the movie that inspired Kill Bill. I haven't seen this until they put it out. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit let down, but it's still definitely, I don't regret purchasing it. It still made it into my top 30. I just expected it to be much more violent and much more innovative. It's pretty slow, and I love the restoration on it. Like the grain looks amazing on there. It's just there's certain spots in the film, which it happens to be all the kill scenes in there, where they do it in slow motion. And I mean, they slow it down, dude. Like this movie has a solid like 15 minutes of just slow motion action, which could have been dope if they did it here and there, but every single kill scene in here is in slow motion. I still highly recommend it though. I love the box. It's got a nice pink tone to it. Again, these are super snug. Like if you can see, it's like bulging out. Like I can't even close the top on these. And these are the ones that I got directly from Vinegar Syndrome because they're custom for their sets. So this one I'm not going to take out because I mean, when you take it out, it's a pain in the ass to put it back in. So I'm just not even going to bother with it. But if you want to check out the back, it's got some really nice art on there. Once again, it comes with both cuts, which you can see here. And the difference between the cuts is one has X-rated inserts in there, and the other one is just the regular cut. So, yeah, no, it is what it is. Next up, Let My Puppets Come. This was one of the first purchases I made from Vinegar Syndrome. And obviously it's got a lot of puppetry in there, and it's basically puppet porn stars. As odd as that sounds, it's entertaining though. It's very entertaining. Once again, it is and Basement Blue says I bought one of each of the case protectors from Vinegar Syndrome. I will need to try some others. Yeah, I'm curious. Are they very snug for you also? Because I can barely get mine out after I put them in there. So like I dread pulling out any of my VSUs to watch because I'm just like, dude, it's going to take me 15 minutes just to put it back in. It's just, you know, it's pretty rough. This right here, though, another film that's based out of New York City. And he says very snug. Yeah, I don't know why they did it so tight. It's just, you know, need a little bit of more space in there. But this is also based in New York City, old school New York City in the 80s, I believe. This has long been sold out, so you can't really get it anymore. What, puppy? What do you want? We're streaming live. What do you want me to do? Long gone, but I'm sure you can probably watch it on Tubi or something like that. It's a silly movie. Like if you've seen Crank Yankers, it's almost that, but with puppet porn stars. If that intrigues you, hunt it down. So this was one of my first purchases from Vinegar Syndrome. I will tell you my first purchase, though. We'll get to that. And I'll explain how I discovered Vinegar Syndrome. Beyond the Door 3. I have the first two from Arrow Video. Arrow Video put out the first one in a big box set, and one of those limited edition ones. This one is actually my favorite one. It's the weirdest one. It doesn't really fit into the trilogy. It's super weird. It's a weird movie. Got some nice surrealism in there, and I love this slipcover. The slipcover is long gone, but I believe it's one of those slipcovers that they reissued. So if you have some Vinegar Syndrome points, this is probably one that you can pick up. And they tend to rotate them, so it might not be in stock right now, but eventually it'll come back into stock, and you can pick it up. I'm curious though, what are your thoughts on this? If you've seen this, I prefer this one over the other two, so I really enjoyed that one. I was debating on putting this one in my list, and I'll tell you why. I am a big animal advocate, and I don't condone animal cruelty in any form, especially in film. It should never be done for entertainment. I mean, you can argue for food and stuff like that. I'm still against that too, but um, especially for film, no animal should be hurt for your entertainment. Which I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I enjoy the cannibal movies, but I have to watch the ones that are cut because I can't watch the turtles being beheaded for like that stuff just bothers me. I can't get into it. This movie I really enjoyed, but there are some scenes in there that really bothered me. Ebola syndrome. There are some scenes with chickens, which, to you, it might not be a big deal to see chickens get killed because most people eat chicken. There are some scenes with frogs being torn apart. It's a little rough. It's a little rough. And there's definitely some sexual scenes in there that might make you feel very uncomfortable. This is a Category 3 movie from Japan, I believe. Other than that, it's a fun movie. If they would have just taken out the animal cruelty, I would have definitely put this like in my top 10. But unfortunately, there's not a cut version, which, with Vinegar Syndrome, I don't know why they don't provide you a cut version, because I remember when I got my Cannibal Holocaust and Cannibal Ferox from Grindhouse releasing, they come with a cut version, so it basically takes out all the animal cruelty so you can just watch the movie. I mean, all the other violence is in there. It's just strictly the animal cruelty that's been taken out. So if anybody from Vinegar Syndrome is listening, please give that a thought, because there's quite a bit of titles in the Vinegar Syndrome catalog that have animal cruelty. Like Hot Snakes is one. What was that other snake movie that they put out? It was a double feature, one of those midnight double features. I forget. It's too far away. I can't read it. But there's a couple. And of course, the Cardona collection 1 and 2. It's got quite a bit of animal cruelty. So if that kind of stuff bothers you like it does with me, probably stay away from this one. Again, I would appreciate a cut version of these if you could, provide it on the disc, where it gives us the choice to, pick which version we want to watch. Next up, one of my first Vinegar Syndrome pickups. Not my first, but one of the first. Spookies, which came with 2 different slipcovers. I think I got the most, this isn't the rare one. I think this is just kind of like the standard slipcover that was available. This movie has a ton of fun. Like it looks pretty cheesy. It's practical effects, but it's a cheap movie. It's got a lot of monsters in there. So all these different creatures are actually in the film. It's not like one of those films that the cover is misleading, where it shows you a bunch of cool stuff and none of it is actually in the film. All of this is in the actual film. So if you like these kind of creatures, you will definitely enjoy this. It's very, very cheesy. Very cheesy. I mean, I'm talking like Peter Jackson bad taste type of cheese. So if you're into those type of movies, Spookies, I highly recommend. This was one of my first pickups from Vinegar Syndrome. Next up, Basement Blues. Not a fan of animal cruelty either. Yeah, I'm not either. I don't understand. And it's sad, man. I mean, they did it so much back in the day. Even in the spaghetti westerns, they would basically have, hidden wire to trip the horses, and dozens of horses would end up with injuries, broken legs, for our entertainment. And that doesn't sit well with me. I never was a fan of that. And I'm glad that there's animal rights now in Hollywood where they can't do this type of shit anymore. So next up, The Undertaker. Joe Spinell. This got a really cool slipcover, so I'm going to try to actually take this out, even though I hate taking these covers off, but I just want to kind of show you guys what the slipcover looks like. Again, most of these are gone as far as the slips. So the slipcover is actually very, very plain. It's just pretty much the shape of a casket. The back is pretty cool. It's got a, bloodstained fingerprints on there, and it's glossy, so it stands out. And then, the regular cover, once you put it in there, once you insert it into the slipcover, it looks like Joe Spinell dead in a casket. So Joe Spinell is an Undertaker. That's what that is. He's a creepy Undertaker. So, and I'm a big fan of his. I love his movies. So I had to grab this. Again, this was one of the first ones that I grabbed. So Bayou Geese. What's up, brother? How are you? Check out the Bayou Geeks also. They do a podcast on YouTube. By the way, I never plug this. I need to start being a little bit better with plugging. Please check out Spitball Media. It's my podcast. It's on YouTube, and we literally stream every Thursday, and we talk movies. It's with my friend John Draper and my good friend Bish O'Brien. So once again, Spitball, one word, Media on YouTube. Go check that out. We stream live every week. You can listen to it in podcast form, or you can check it out right here on YouTube. So Spitball Media, definitely check that out. I don't know why I don't plug that more often. Holland Oates, what's up, brother? Yeah, rest in peace. Undertaker came back for WrestleMania for a solid 2 seconds. I don't know what that was, but hey, man, I don't know. He couldn't even be bothered to dress as the Undertaker. He showed up in like sweats. Yeah, I don't know about that. Tiana, how's it going? Long time no see. Next up, I got 2 copies of this. It's from 2 different companies, though. So I got the Vinegar Syndrome one, and I also have it from 101 Films out in the UK. So it's Tammy and the T-Rex, and they put Tanny. I think that was an error on the original cover or something like that. So they just kind of stuck with that. I got the reprinted comic book cover, which honestly I'm not a fan of. I don't like this cover. I just had to get the 4K because the only copy that I had was the 101 Films because this 4K was long out of stock with the lenticular slipcover. So I figured eventually I'd want to watch it on 4K. So I took the opportunity to grab Tammy and the T-Rex. Again, it's Tammy. It's not Tanny. Tammy and the T-Rex on 4K. So this, let's see, ton of features on here also. It's got, rest in peace, Paul Walker in there, a young Paul Walker in there, and Denise Richards is also in there. So it's a cool movie. It's about basically Denise Richards and her pet dinosaur. And again, it's all practical effects. The dinosaur looks cool as hell. It stands the test of time. Really, really cheesy movie, but I recommend it. I really, really enjoy this. This is like a really fun movie if you haven't seen it. Oddball movie, but really, really fun movie to check out. Next up, I believe this was released last year, The Invisible Maniac. This came with an additional slipcover, which I believe was lenticular if you had donated to them during the last April Fools. And nothing but silicone. What's up? I'd love for you to see my 4K and Blu-ray zombie collection that I've been finishing up. You on Discord? I used to be on Discord. I haven't used Discord in ages and ages. But, send me a link. Send me a link on here. Yeah, zombie movies, I like zombie movies, but that's probably on the lower tier when it comes to horror for me. I have a shit ton of them. Like I have all the George Romero stuff, obviously. But yeah, I'd love to see your collection. I don't know, make a video sometime, put it up. Let's see. This one, it's on 4K, obviously, from Vinegar Syndrome. This is a sleazeball movie. I mean, it's about a perverted teacher that basically can take people's clothes off because he's invisible. He has the power of being invisible. I haven't seen this since it got released, so pardon me if I'm a little off with the plot. But really nice cover. It's got some gloss on there. I don't know if you can't really see the gloss, but she's all glossy, and the background is kind of a matte finish. And the background got some cheeks on there. Shout out to my boy Master Chaos. He always says, when there's cheeks on the back cover, it's a terrible movie. But I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. Again, none of these movies are like great 5-star movies. These are shitty movies that are fun. If you know Vinegar Syndrome, you know what you're signing up for. This one is hated. Most people hate this movie, and I thought it was pretty decent. Yeah, the Eli stuff. I fell out of it, and I recently got back into it just because of I guess Jamie coming back. Like that stuff's been super entertaining. So I've been following it. It's just that guy. There's so much I could say about him, but we'll keep that for a different stream. This one right here, Blood Delirium. Man, people hate this movie. I really like this movie. It's a very artsy movie, but they try to be too artsy, and it's like a pretty shitty movie, but they think that they're putting out like a Criterion level film. I forget the entire plot. It was basically about an artist. Yeah, manic painter. Crazy painter that is obsessive. This is it's good though. It's got like classical music in the background while people are getting killed. It's a pretty artsy movie. If you're like into art house films, you might enjoy this one. Check out the trailer. I wouldn't tell you to go buy this right off the bat because again, most people do not enjoy this movie. I'm one of the rare occasions like most people hate this movie, and I enjoyed it. As soon as I heard that it's kind of an artsy film, I was like, wow, Vinegar Syndrome putting out artsy films. Like, I'm all for that. You know what? I'm going to pick out my first Vinegar Syndrome release. This is the title that brought me to Vinegar Syndrome. Silicone. So when you already have the Blu-ray of one of your favorites, do you upgrade to 4K? It really depends. If it's one of my favorites, absolutely. Yeah, I upgrade a lot to 4K. I've recently toned it down a lot, but I mean, Scream Factory was putting out like 90% of the mainstream horror films that we grew up on. They put them all out on Blu-ray, and now they're slowly upgrading everything to 4K. So, yeah, I mean, this next one is a pretty good example of me upgrading things, and it's not even a 4K. I just bought 2 separate copies of it, which is ridiculous, but you know, when you get into collecting, man, you kind of just eat shit sometimes. So, Hell Comes to Frogtown. This was what brought me to Vinegar Syndrome. And the reason is because I was a big wrestling fan. I knew Roddy Piper was in this film. I wanted to hunt it down. And it was available from Vinegar Syndrome. And it's got this cool box, which comes apart. The only thing that bothers me about this is when you put it on the shelf, it's slightly taller than everything else. So it just sticks out. And I hate that. Like my OCD kicks in. I absolutely hate when things don't align on the shelf. So it really bothers me. A24 does this too with their limited editions. Like the Midsommar set is like, it's like a book, you know, like Criterion did that with the Godzilla set. I mean, come on. The Godzilla set is like a puzzle box. It's the size of a literal like cereal box. I know Arrow Video did it with the Blood Feast. I think it's called Blood Feast collection. The Herschel Gordon Lewis. I got the Possession set from Mondo, I believe, put that out. I'm trying to see what else is gigantic that doesn't really fit on the shelf. Those are the main ones: the Midsommar, the Herschel Gordon Lewis from Arrow, and Possession. It just bothers me. They don't fit on anything, and they just kind of sit there. Even the House of 1,000 Corpses that they recently put out in that fancy edition, it's much taller than everything else that's around. So it's kind of annoying. Kind of annoying. Do I have the Ghostbusters set that lights up? I do not, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I know my friend Tony, Basement Blues, in the chat. He definitely has it. Basement Blues. I mean, you talk about upgrading. This man has 16 copies of every film that comes in. Like, if a movie comes out with a different cover, he's buying it. And that's exactly what I did with this one right here. Because Vinegar Syndrome put out Hell Comes to Frogtown originally in this case, and they reissued it in this case right here, which, look at this back. Got some frog cheeks on here. Got some sperm. I don't know. I had to grab it again. So once again, Hell Comes to Frogtown. This is a really cheesy movie. Great practical effects with the frog people. Roddy Piper is just banging every chick in the movie because, you know, he's got to save humanity and he's the only one that can get people pregnant. So hence the reason the sperm is all over there in the background. It's a lot of fun. I agree. Hollow Notes. I agree. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that one, yeah, Nothing But Silicone. Vinegar Syndrome is a boutique label. It's a boutique company that puts out pretty much not very well-known films that nobody's really heard of. And they restore the shit out of them. I mean, these movies are movies that, you know, most of them didn't even have DVD releases. Of course, you know, Hell Comes to Frogtown did, but, you know, some of the lower tier ones like Blood Delirium probably was stuck on VHS. So they restore these and they make them look like magnificent. So, I mean, a lot of these movies are not the best movies, but quality wise, I mean, this is some of the best stuff you'll see out there as far as, you know, transfers. Next one, you'll probably know this one though. This is on 4K. I still haven't seen the 4K, so I don't know what the transfer looks like. Amityville Horror. They put this out on 4K again. I haven't opened it yet, so I don't really know. But look at this back cover. Look at that gloss on there. It says "Get Out" with the upside down cross and the flies. I mean, holy shit. Look at this thing. This thing is a beauty. This is sold out. I think it goes for a lot of money now. So, good luck finding it. You can probably go to eBay and get it, but I mean, it's probably like $70 or some crazy shit now. So, Amityville Horror. I don't really need to explain it. I'm sure everybody's probably familiar with this one. It's an MGM film. MGM, I believe, did a deal with Vinegar Syndrome because they started putting out a lot of this stuff. Wasn't Invisible Man one? I don't know. No, I don't think Invisible Man was. They did put out a lot of MGM films, though. Now, the next one is a VSA, which is weird because they put out the second film and not the first one. The first one got a 4K release by some other company. Let's see. Let's go in the chat. Gosh, those VHS tapes ain't worth nothing anymore. Than you'd be surprised. VHS tapes are worth a lot of money, actually. So if you got some horror VHS tapes, go on eBay and look at the prices because you might be sitting on thousands of dollars if you got a lot. Because I mean, some of them I've seen go for $150, $200. Like the collector market is pretty crazy. So you go in your basement and check it out. If you got some tapes, you might be sitting on a gold mine. I'd love an Amityville box set. Actually, since you mentioned it, let me pull it out. So Vinegar Syndrome actually put out a Amityville box set. These aren't the original, sequels. These are kind of like the knockoff sequels. But I love this box set. It's got the nice Amityville house. The back is, I guess, the same. And when you open it up, all the films are stored in there. So this is, I didn't put it on my top 30, but this is a nice box set. So again, this is long gone. I know Scream Factory actually put out the original Amityville films in a box set. So if you can find that down, I mean, they're going to put it out on 4K though. Like I can bet you anything that they're going to reissue Amityville box set eventually on 4K. One of my favorites of all time. I love the Amityville Horror and that packaging. Yeah, the packaging. I mean, dude, this back cover. I'm not doing it justice. You have to see it because it's all glossy. All the blood stains, the Get Out. This is a gorgeous cover, and it's got some embossing on there. This is. Let's see. I just bought the limited edition Universal Monster coffee table book in 4K. I missed out on that. That's sold out. I wanted to pre-order that and completely forgot about it. So that's dope. I love that's another one of those like oddly sized, box sets that I wouldn't mind having that one. But the only VHS tapes worth anything are the ones that haven't been re-released on DVD or Blu-ray. That's not true. I just saw a Jaws VHS tape go for almost $200. Jaws is on 4K. It's been released a million times. There are people that just like collecting VHS tapes. So don't be fooled by that. If it's been released on DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, it doesn't matter. A lot of these are worth a lot of money. So, look into it. My VHS tape of Rabid Grannies used to be worth a lot of money. Not any longer. Well, Vinegar Syndrome actually put out Rabid Grannies. So if you want to upgrade that, go on vinegarsyndrome.com. You should check out their catalog anyway. You're big into horror. If you're not familiar with the company, definitely check it out. There might be a bit of titles that you're. It's a cool looking book. It looks like graffiti. Yeah, I know. I know the exact cover that you were talking about. That's actually a re-release. They put it out the first time. It's just a different packaging. But the packaging that you bought, I prefer that one over the original all day. Vape break. The next three I don't have slipcovers for. Demon Wind. And I'm so mad I don't have the slipcover for this because it's got a nice lenticular that when you move it around, it becomes all 3D and shit. This is a fun movie. It's got a lot of nudity. It's got a lot of gore. It's got this demon thing in there. So if you're not familiar with this, it might be on Tubi. Most of these movies are on Tubi. So if you can't find them, I would recommend going on Tubi and checking it out. This is a really fun movie, though. I don't remember what the reversible art looks like. Oh, is it the same? Why is the... Oh, no, it's slightly different. Slightly different. Huh. But yeah, a lot of their films, I mean, they come with a lot of special features. They come with, reversible cover arts, custom packaging, all sorts of cool stuff. So Demon Wind is one that I definitely recommend. This is a fun, very, very fun movie. Cheesy 80s film. Next up, Raw Force. Again, don't have the slipcover for this one. I'm missing a handful of their slipcovers out of the stuff that I have. So Raw Force is one, Demon Wind is one, Ice Cream Man is one. Which shit, why didn't I include Ice Cream Man? I should have included Ice Cream Man. That's one of the better ones. Let's squeeze that in there. We'll do a top 31. Ice Cream Man. That's fucking amazing movie. I love that. Yeah, once again, comes with 2 discs. One is special features, one is the Blu-ray. Raw Force is a combination of exploitation, shitty kung fu, monsters, violence, nudity. I mean, everything you can imagine that goes into the Vinegar Syndrome catalog. It's all in one movie. This is like the Vinegar Syndrome soup. It's just like a combination of all the fuckery in one. So Raw Force, very, very fun movie again. Very, very fun movie. I recommend this one. This should be in everyone's collection. If you have a Vinegar Syndrome shelf, this needs to be on there. Next up is a Canadian film, another one that I don't have the slipcover for, but this one actually caught me by surprise because I'd never even heard of this movie. Very gory film, actually. Deadline. And I put this in like a custom slipcase. I don't know why. Because they usually give you the slim cases. I don't know why I put this one in the thicker one. But anyway. Deadline. I forget what it's about. It's like a reporter, right? It's about a reporter. Yeah, no, it's a horror writer. Yeah. Yeah, it's about a horror writer that's kind of like losing motivation. There was one scene in there. It's like they tear apart this guy's rib cage and they leave him hanging from the ceiling, and it looks so crazy. And like for practical effects for such a cheap Canadian movie, they really pulled it off. That's mainly the one scene I remember from this is the guy's rib cage kind of like just being torn apart and him hanging from the ceiling. Super, super cool movie though. I recommend this. A little slow, but quite violent and pretty batshit crazy. So next up, Luther the Geek. Again, another one of the first releases that I got from them. It's about a psychotic man that basically it's like a serial killer movie, right? But he bites the head off chickens. I don't know why that's a part of the film, but the cool thing is he has like platinum rapper teeth, so that really stood out to me. That made him a lot creepier than he probably deserved to be. This is a pretty violent movie though. It's a pretty cool movie. From my memory, if memory serves me correctly, they just show him putting the chicken's head in his mouth and he spits it out later, but I'm assuming he didn't actually do that. I'm assuming it was just, a cutaway take and they put some fake chicken heads in his, I don't know. I'm hoping he didn't bite the head of a chicken, but Luther the Geek, this is long been sold out. Let me see if I can pull it out because the cover is pretty cool. If I'm remembering it correctly, it's got like a yellow cover with a killer on there. These things are so tight, man. It's hard to pull it out. Yeah, him biting the head of a chicken. So, pretty crazy movie. Pretty crazy movie. I think I put this on my top disturbing list, too. It was like number 50 or 40 or some shit. I don't know. But if you haven't checked that out, I have a top 50 disturbing movie list, which the last 2 portions, as soon as I uploaded it, YouTube striked me for copyright. So I took them down. I made them private. So I'm probably going to have to do those on a live stream where I basically just maybe show the cover. Because every time I put any clips from the films, YouTube's just been kind of tough with the trailers and things of that nature. I don't want to, have the channel shut down because I showed 3 seconds of a trailer. So next up, Boggy Creek. This is a VSA. This is Boggy Creek 2, which again, it's a VSA, so it comes with these hard cases. It's a Bigfoot movie. It's a cheesy Bigfoot movie, but the Bigfoot actually looks pretty good. Like if you're into Bigfoot films, and the cover is super cool. Look at that. So it's Bigfoot with his son. This is a Blu-ray. The first one was released on 4K. I believe, I don't know which company put it out, but I know whoever the director is, the state of the director actually was in charge. So they're getting most of the profits, so good for them, which is probably why Vinegar Syndrome didn't put out the first one. So they put out the second one. Boggy Creek, if you're into Bigfoot movies, this is a good one. This is actually like a decent, fun movie, but I think it's sold out. I think it's sold out during their last sale. Wacko. This is a comedy. This is a comedy, which they don't put out too many comedies. This is like a Halloween comedy. Very, very cheesy. Most people don't like this. I absolutely love this. It's such a cheesy, shitty movie, but it's very entertaining. So if you're into cheese fest comedies from the 80s that are cheap, this might be right up your alley. Watch the trailer. Wacko. Very, very fun. A motion picture made by, for, and about people just like you. I don't relate to any of these people, so it's not about me. I don't know what the cover is talking about. I have nothing in common with the people from Wacko. Let's go through the comments real quick. So do you collect everything? You must have a damn video store in your house. I only do primarily horror unless I'm in a garage sale. Yeah, I collect a lot. I don't know if you can see my shelf. You can barely see it over there. So that's one of my shelves. I have 3 gigantic shelves. Again, some of the people in the chat room right now, they have much larger collections than me. I mean, Basement Blues, Silicone, go subscribe to Basement Blues. I mean, you talk about large collections. This man has a gazillion films. Like, I have probably close to 3,000 movies. He's probably got 25,000. I mean, he's got one of the largest libraries I've ever seen on film. I mean, he does some great stuff. Another person is Cinema Sickness. His whole basement is completely covered in film, which I got to collaborate with Cinema Sickness, ironically enough. He's a pretty big channel. I think he's got like 20, 30,000 subs. I sold him a bunch of pops. So he actually came to my house and did a video at my house. And I went to some flea markets with him. So I did a couple videos with Cinema Sickness. So shout out to Dave. I actually just saw him about 2 weeks ago. He just moved to Florida. So I just randomly saw him at Chick-fil-A and kind of said my goodbye. But Cinema Sickness is a good dude. Basement Blues, definitely check him out. Yeah, there's a lot of people with much larger collections than I have. But got to get going. Great seeing you. Yeah, absolutely, man. Check out the replay, and definitely check out some of the people that I just mentioned because they have great collections. Fade to Black. This is probably on most people's lists if they're into Vinegar Syndrome. It's about a killer that's obsessed with horror films, so he kills in the form of dressing up as one of the horror villains. So if you look at the back, you see him dressed as like the Mummy, as like I don't know what these other ones are. Maybe this is like the Phantom, Phantom of the Opera, maybe. Obviously Dracula, So this is a very, very fun movie. Came with 2 different slipcovers. I chose this one over the other one. The other one was a little too busy for me, so I just, I stuck with this one. But this is also out of print. So again, sorry, most of these are out of print. Because again, I chose some of the older titles. The recent titles, I'm not familiar with a lot of them, so I'm not up to date with Vinegar Syndrome right now. I did not know that about you collaborating with Cinema Sickness. Yeah, I was Cinema Sickness lived literally in my town. Like, he was 5 minutes away from me. So I put up a post. Was it on Instagram or Facebook? I don't remember. But I wanted to get rid of all my pops, and I had like 300 pops. And he reached out to me, and him and what's his buddy's name? I forget his name. I feel bad because he's a funny dude. It was during COVID time. So if you want to find the video, it was during COVID time. It had to be around probably maybe April, May-ish 2020. Go back in his videos. You'll see it. It's a Funko Pop video. So he came to my basement. He put me on video. We kind of went through my collection. And I did a couple flea market runs with him where I was featured on his channel. So yeah, good dude, man. I like Dave a lot. Next up, From Beyond. Love this. H.P. Lovecraft. I love his type of films. I mean, he's not a solid dude. From my understanding, he was super racist and a piece of shit. So, But wrote great stories. And I think is it a Stuart Gordon? Who made this film? Stuart Gordon? Let me pull it out because I'm curious who directed this. I think it was Stuart Gordon, right? Someone let me know. Was it Stuart Gordon? Who the hell directed this? Yeah, I mean, obviously Jeffrey Combs is in here from Stuart Gordon, yeah. So same director as Reanimator. Jeffrey Combs, obviously in Reanimator. So this, if you like the Reanimator, this is a great double feature with that. And I'm a big time Reanimator fan. Like, I mean, I love all three of them. Beyond Reanimator, Bride of Reanimator, Reanimator itself. Arrow Video, please put out a box set with them upgraded in 4K. There's absolutely no reason we don't have Reanimator in 4K, but we have the Invisible Maniac Invisible Maniac in 4K. Like, come on. We need those on 4K. And please don't give it in separate releases. Just put it in a nice, gigantic box set, Reanimator box set. I'm assuming that Arrow is going to do it because, I mean, they're the ones that put it out originally. So I'm hoping they do it. I missed out on the big original Reanimator and Bride of Reanimator box sets, which is funny because I was managing an FYE store when they put those out, and I had those at my store, and I didn't bother buying them, and I had to resort to the Steelbook. So I have them on Steelbook from Arrow, but I don't have the gigantic limited edition boxes. That's what I wanted. But this sold out fast from Beyond. This sold out quickly. I mean, this didn't last very long. So this is long gone. Again, my apology. You're not going to be able to get it. But let's get this pile out of the way. We're more than halfway done. We got about, 7-8 titles left. So again, I appreciate you guys joining me here. I will look for that. Yeah, again, it's in 2020. Definitely was during COVID because, we were talking about COVID and everything. I remember when they came over. So definitely 2020. I want to say April or May, maybe June, But if you go back during those videos, you'll definitely find it. So let's go to some VSUs. Oh, man, I mean, one of their best releases ever. Again, I can't take it out because it's... You ever see like 45-year-old men wearing skinny jeans and their stomachs are just like popping and they're just bulging out everywhere and then they just got skinny little legs? This is what I feel like happens to these titles when I put them inside these slipcovers because they just bulge out. I mean, the top barely closes. Like, it's just, a little too snug for me. Roadhouse. Absolutely love this film. I discovered this because of Terry Funk because I was a gigantic wrestling fan growing up. I worked in wrestling. I mean, wrestling was my career. I was a graphic, artist in wrestling and a merchant for years. That's literally what I did for years. I traveled with wrestling companies and sold merchandise. So, I mean, I was very, very much knee deep into wrestling. Terry Funk, my all-time favorite wrestler. He's in this film. That's how I discovered it. And Vinegar Syndrome gave it the blessing it deserved. I mean, this restoration looks amazing. The box set is tremendous. The artwork is amazing. Everything about this is amazing. Unlike the remake that we just got from Amazon, because that is a steaming pile of dookie. That was terrible. There's nothing that I liked about that. Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal, Conor McGregor. I mean, Post Malone fighting. Like, what are we doing here? We needed more chicken wire. Like that reminded me of like a Miami Vice type of movie. You know what I mean? This one is grimy and gritty. It's dirty. That's what I liked about this. The new one, it's neon colors and AI and CGI. Just no, thank you. No, thank you. If I had to choose one as my favorite release from Vinegar Syndrome, again, none of these are in order, but hands down, this is my favorite release by Vinegar Syndrome. Beastmaster. I love this movie. I love this set. I don't know if they can get the rights to the second one. I think there's a third one also. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but this is a gorgeous set. I mean, look at this thing. Look at the art on this. Whew. I think the standard might still be available. So if you just want to check this out on 4K, the standard might be still available. But I mean, this box is long gone. This probably sells for like $100 now or something on eBay. So, I mean, this is my favorite though. I mean, dude, if you're a fan of, like Conan films, Sword and the Sorcerer, like things of that nature, this movie is amazing. It's got witchcraft in there. It's got violence. It's got, the Conan type of action going on, kind of like apocalyptic. It's got a nudity in there. So, I mean, this is one of those movies that I feel like fits very well with the Vinegar Syndrome category. So, catalog, I should say. Once again, this is hands down my favorite release they've ever done. I mean, this is miles ahead of everything else. I love that movie. Love the release itself. Next up, I think this is still available. I expected this movie to be sold out within weeks because Severin Films put out the Dracula version. So it's a Paul Morrissey film. I know it's called what was it? Who was the artist? Andy Warhol. It was called Andy Warhol's Frankenstein. Again, his name is nowhere on this, but I mean that's what it was known for, was Andy Warhol's Frankenstein and Andy Warhol's Dracula, I believe. Funny enough, Criterion put these out years and years ago on DVD. And here's Vinegar Syndrome restoring it. I think this is 4K, right? Well, is this 4K? Again, look how it's bulging out. You can't even close it because it's just like gigantic. But it comes with two releases. One is 3D. The other one is just regular. And I think it might just be Blu-ray. I don't think it is 4K. Weird artsy film. I mean, I really liked it. A lot of people were kind of about this. I thought this was going to sell out immediately. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is still available in this big box set. I think it went for like 45, 50 bucks maybe. Because there was a lot of hype around the Severin release, and this went hand in hand with that. Because, both are Paul Morrissey films, and they hadn't seen the light of day since the Criterion release. So I thought this was going to sell out immediately. So I grabbed this. I didn't even wait for a sale. I pre-ordered this, got it right away. I was a little disappointed because I thought these threads and stitches were going to be like 3D, and they're not. It's just kind of like a regular cover. Probably one of my least favorite covers. I don't like this cover at all. I don't like the way it sits on the shelf. It looks ugly. Everything else is gorgeous. I mean, look at this. Look at the side on this, right? And then you put it against this. It's like meh, right? Not the greatest cover. I don't like the cover. The movie itself is very experimental. It's very artsy. It's a very artsy take on Frankenstein, and kind of like a perverted take on Frankenstein, if you will. Basement Blues, a favorite of mine. Great release for Roadhouse. I remember my wife and I watching it in the theater when it was first released. That's amazing, man. I wish I could see that in the theater. Again, I didn't see it until many, many years later. Again, discovering it through wrestling, Another favorite of mine, Scanner Cop. This is such a great release. Such a great release. And I think the standards are still available. Check for yourself. I know the box set is definitely sold out, but I love the color scheme on these individual releases for Scanner Cop 1 and 2. This has great practical effects. I mean, you can see the front. Again, this is one of those covers that's not misleading. This is actually in the film with the little baby heads growing out of his head. So Scanner Cop, I love this. If you like Maniac Cop, this is a great double feature with that. It's probably not as good. A little cheaper, but I think it stands the test of time. I really enjoyed Scanner Cop. I had never seen these movies prior to Vinegar Syndrome releasing them. So this was a really nice treat because this was a complete blind buy for me. And I pre-ordered these. I didn't wait for a sale. I got this right away. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it. This is a great box set. I wish I could open these. Again, these ones are so annoying to get out. If you can tell, it bulges. And if I take it out, it's going to take me an hour to stuff it back in there. So at this point, I'm just like convinced that these VSUs and the bigger boxes, I'm just never going to rewatch them again because it's that much of a pain in the ass to put them back in. I'm just never going to watch these again. They're just going to sit there. Next up, another big box, but I don't have it in a set. I mean, I don't have it in one of these protectors, so I can actually show it to you guys. They put out Freeway 1 and 2, and they actually gave us this nice edition, nice slipcase, which you could have. I bought this individually because I already owned both films, so I just bought the box. I still haven't seen Freeway 2, but the first one is absolutely amazing. Love the first one. Reese Witherspoon, unlike you've ever seen her before. I mean, I think this might have been her first movie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but of course you got Natasha in the second one. I love the back covers. They very much complement each other. Even the front covers, I love it, man. I love it. Vinegar Syndrome does not miss when it comes to packaging. Love this. And basically it's about it's a revenge flick. It's a revenge flick about a girl getting abducted on the freeway and her getting her revenge back, and it's pretty gruesome. And it's very, very fun. It's a thriller. It's not a horror film, but these hit hard, man. I mean, I think this is still available, so you can still grab these, and I highly recommend these. I mean, this is like actual good films. These aren't like shitty films. These are actually good films. Check these out. I know this one is still available, and I don't know how, because it's one of their best horror films that they've released. I don't know how this is still available. But on 4K, we got Ticks. It's got Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was a nice surprise. I love the fact that he was in there. It's got a nice slipcover too. Gross ticks on there. Some disgusting looking ticks. This is a really, really fun movie, man. This is a really, really fun movie. Let's see who else is in there. Seth Green is in here. I forgot about Seth Green. Yeah, and Clint Howard. Of course, Clint Howard was also in Ice Cream Man, another Vinegar Syndrome title. I forgot Seth Green was in this. So yeah, it's got a nice triple star in there. It's got, Alfonso from Fresh Prince and Clint Howard and Seth Green. This I recommend. Highly, highly recommend this. Ticks on 4K. Grab this before this eventually sells out. You can grab it during their next sale. I mean, this is a great upgrade. It looks amazing. It's a very fun movie. And I stand by this. Like, this isn't one of those crappy movies that you're like, oh, it's so bad it's good. No, this is actually an enjoyable film. This is actually fun. Next up, we got 2 more titles, and that's it. Next up, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Got the slipcase edition. It comes with this nice back cover. I love this back cover. Look at that. And of course, the front is the original cover, making fun of the Breakfast Club. And it comes with this slipcase. The slipcase I don't really like. It's got this like smudge painting art, which I don't really think it complements the film itself. Like, I would have much rather they went with this style of art, where it's a little bit more gritty and grimy. Fun movie though. It's kind of like half comedy, half horror. It's nothing like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if that's what you're looking for. Because in Tobe Hooper's eyes, like, his original vision for Texas Chainsaw was for it to have some comedic aspects in there. Like, I don't know what he was thinking, because the original, there's nothing funny about it, but that's what he was aiming for. And once he saw that's not what he accomplished on film, he wanted to do the second one, and he wanted to cater to the audiences a little bit more when it comes to the comedy. So it's got some comedy spliced in there. But great release by Vinegar Syndrome. It looks amazing on 4K. I just don't really like the slipcover that much. All right, the last one of my latest pickups from Vinegar Syndrome. This is now sold out. It's got a little bit of texture to it. Existence. Obviously, David Cronenberg, an absolute legend. I still haven't even opened this yet. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, the 4K transfer yet. But I have this movie on DVD still. I've seen it many, many times. And back here is obviously the plug for the game. I got to check this out. I might check this out actually tonight. I hate the cover though. The cover is just gross. It's just like hairy belly. Like, I don't know what they were doing with this. This is one of those movies I wouldn't have cared if I missed out on the slipcase, because I mean, honestly, just look at this thing. This thing is hideous. And I rarely ever say that about Vinegar Syndrome. I mean, the last 2 are probably the only 2 that I've said they're kind of ugly, but the rest of them, I mean, the artwork is fantastic. This right here, I don't know. No. The back, no. So I've actually never even opened this. I'm looking at it for the first time myself. Comes with a nice little booklet. Here's the bone gun from the film. The film is pretty cool, man. It's like this is from the game. It's like a virtual reality game thing, and it makes people go crazy, and they can't tell what's real and what's not. They get stuck in the game. Very cool. Pretty topical nowadays. I mean, with virtual reality being a big thing, and this is a great movie. Let's see what the inside looks the same. So, Existence, David Cronenberg, also known for, obviously Scanners, obviously Crash, Videodrome, his latest one, Crimes of the Future, many other movies, Rabid. What else did he put out? What else did he put out? Naked Lunch. I mean, so many films, and he's one of my favorite directors of all time. So once again, these were my 30. I even included this one, so kind of like 31, I guess. But yeah, these are my top 30 Vinegar Syndrome releases. If you haven't checked out Vinegar Syndrome, give them a shot. VinegarSyndrome.com. Check it out. They put out some great stuff. Amazing transfers. They put out a ton of effort into their releases. And it's a company that I can't recommend enough. So with that said, I appreciate you guys taking a time out to join me. Please hit that like button. Again, I haven't been on YouTube for a while, so I'm kind of out of the algorithm. So if you can help me by commenting below some of your favorite releases, because engagement kind of brings me back into the light and YouTube starts to kind of push my videos out a little bit more. So if you can, please, can't talk, please hit the like button and leave a comment. And I appreciate you taking the time out to watch this. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and make sure you hit that bell, because I'm really bad at scheduling these live streams, but I plan on doing one a week. So maybe again this weekend or sometime early next week, I want to do a top 10 or 15 A24 horror films. So I want to get into A24 a little bit. So if that interests you, definitely hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And once again, have a great week. Peace.